Welcome to the 2023 Board of Director meeting, celebrating 12 years of service as of 2023. I'm Cricket Barrientos, founder Sounds of Autism, and today I'm here to present the year-end Board of Director update to give the 2023 vision, the 2023 leadership roles, phase 1 of our survival up and running programs, phase 2, our launch and the save the dates for the Bobby Joe Bell Raise Your Hands Inc. group, who's going to be running phase 2, and phase 3, the development stage of workforce development, which will be led by Landon Barrientos, an autistic individual, adult, and his best friend Alex, under the direction of Cricket Barrientos, founder Sounds of Autism. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization established in Goodyear, Arizona in 2011. We became a 501c3 in 2012, and we are in great standing with the Arizona Corporate Commission as well as our national program. We will be celebrating 12 years of service in 2023, and ironically in 2020 and 2021 we were audited by the IRS, and all of the audit results came back, and it was a very positive result. They said we're doing a good job and that we have nothing to worry about at this time. Sharing our vision 2023. We have a business model that we'll be using. The highest level of education in the Bloom taxonomy education model is creativity. We felt this was a great start to our program. We know that kids on the autism or at-risk spectrum are capable of doing so much if we remove hurdles and obstacles. And so the highest level of education that we can get these individuals to, the better that we have a chance of survival. And so we're focusing on that, and that is step 1 of our program. Signature model is a model that I created as a restaurateur for over the last 30 years, and it was a way of conditioning people with kindness, teaching the student become the teacher and the teachers to become a student, so that you teach leadership skills as well as how to be a great follower and to take direction well. This is the highest level of business when you can put your signature on something saying you created that, you did that. That's what the signature model or step of the program is. And then Edutopia, which is an empowerment model. Edutopia is really social emotional learning to create a unified platform for people that are being educated. And the empowerment model is the more we allow people to create and put their signature on something, this will empower them to go to the highest level of empowerment, which is teaching others how to do what they do. And that's really where a lot of our individuals are today, because they've worked with us so diligently to understand and push themselves to be successful. The Creating Signature Empowerment model is what we use to build every single piece of educational curriculum that we have, every training solution, every support solution, every tool that we have. We want to make sure that it's a peer-to-peer and it's very simple steps that remove hurdles and obstacles for people to learn. Combining higher levels of education and business solutions empowers all communities with a more sustainable job skill, safety skill, and independent life skill platform. We took that model and we applied it to our roadmap, our Candyland roadmap journey calendar. And this really is to show people what the steps are to raise a child with a disability or with at-risk issues. The red is prenatal. That's where Bernadette and Brenda come in. They teach college students at the prenatal stage. They're the next generation of leaders and parents. We want to make sure that they are prepared to be in a situation where they can identify signs immediately and know what to do, exactly what to do, so that they get the help before their child's brain is 90% developed, which is at the 5-year age. So we want to make sure they see the signs around 2 to 3. We feel that these types of programs will help educate them to look for those signs. The puberty monster at 9 years old, kids start going through puberty, and when that triggers, it could be a spiraling, it could be a harm to themselves or others, it could be a very rough time. These milestones that you see on the back of our calendar or our map, they are really the critical stages. They're the times in the life where we've seen our kids, my son's now 20, seeing our kids going through different things. And so all the pictures on here with the responders and the support solutions, the doctors, the community, everybody, even mom and dad holding a sign saying, "Congratulations, son, you made it to your own gingerbread house." Those are all milestones that we want to be a part of and support. Sounds of Autism Board of Directors, Directors and Collaborative Impact Partners of 2023. Our board of directors, Kevin Crotty, he is a first responder for the city of Phoenix. Dr. Angela Crotty, she is a vice superintendent of the educational platforms. Alexis Barrientos, she's in the medical side of things, sports therapy and nutrition, and she supports the community and is the community liaison for us. And then me, Cricket Barrientos, a mom of autism, the founder and an advocate for the autism population. All four of us cover each of those puzzle pieces to create that unified responder community. And we love that because each one of us can give our input and our expertise in why bridging certain gaps are important in those specific areas. We also have our board of director and educational instructors, community and corporate outreach, Bernadette Smith, and her support solution, Brenda Nelson. Both of these ladies working with multiple colleges throughout the state of Arizona and college students, giving them the opportunity to learn and work with mayor, city council, work with first responders, educational platforms, people in the community that can support at-risk individuals. We also have our grants team, our director of grants, fundraising and sponsorship with Steve Pomerantz, Amanda Hart, Diet Milhone, Angelo Villalobos, Andrea Peterson, and Katrina Eaton. All of these individuals putting their heart and soul into raising funds so that we can continue to sustain our program and continue to support our families at no cost. Julie Kent, Veterans and Military Affairs, Mike Mazzell, Workforce Development, Jacqueline Torres, Educational Outreach, along with her sidekick Carmen and Angelo, Josh Napoleon, Northern Community Ambassador, Kelly Carbello, Emergency Operations Plans, all of these individuals bringing their expertise and their experiences to the table to help support our families from prenatal till the end of life. We also have our Goodyear Police Sergeant, Sean Tyler, his SRO Officer, Dwayne King, and their SRO team. Fire Department, Chris Kneitzer, Litchfield School District, Gina DeCoste, Melissa McComb, Leslie Willis, Andrea Trim, all of them in the special ed program, helping support us in building educational programs and making sure that what we're trying to accomplish is working. And then Agua Fria High School District, Mark Gaslis, the superintendent, is also working with Sounds of Autism on some future programs that could benefit everybody. We also have our collaborative impact partner, Human Trafficking and Sexual Exploitation Recovery Division, which is directed by and led by Lisa Lucchesi from CareSource. She does the National Health Plan portion of this human trafficking and sexual exploitation portion of the program, and she works with Hannah, Kanasha, and Briasia, all victims once in their lives, and can bring a personalized component to our program. We also have our collaborative impact partner who is phase 2 leader, and that is Raise Your Hands Inc. Foundation, led by Bobby Joe Bell Band. They do our media and marketing support through music. Bobby Joe is the president of his foundation, Raise Your Hands Inc., but he's also director of music for Sounds of Autism, alongside Lisa Wood, his vice president, who is also supporting Sounds of Autism. They have a board of director, Chris Hess and Rich Hinshaw, their music support, and they're out there working with Bobby Joe Bell on creating music as well as the line dance. We have our executive advisory board of director from our California chapter, Chad Ratliff, who will be helping us launch California. We have our international board of directors, James Townend from Canada, and his support, Mike Huerta, and Dr. Anelia Khan, who is the Director of Global and International Development, and her sidekick, Dr. Shagafta Abbasi. Dr. Abbasi and her run an orphanage in Pakistan for at-risk individuals. Our 2023 Phase 4 game plan. We're going to go to 4 phases and remove these 16 programs. All those programs are under one of these phases, but we have a lot of crossover. So we're going to focus on survival for phase 1, compassion and empathy phase 2, workforce development phase 3, and independent living solutions phase 4. Our first phase program, it supports the ACRE communities, which is at-risk or autism families, community leaders, responders, and educational leaders. We focus on survival through educational platforms, virtual and mobile, and we do this one step, one city, and 1 acre at a time. We have Phase 1 2023, our new mission, to safely integrate children and families of autism and others at risk back into society through love and support. The highlighted is what we added, safely and others at risk, because we are not just focusing on autism, and we're focusing on safety, job skills, life skills, as well as other at-risk individuals. Why the change? We primarily respond to the needs of autism population, but we immediately realize that all at-risk individuals benefit from our life, job, and safety skill solutions. And we didn't want to just focus on autism populations because we felt everyone together achieves more. So we focus on mental health, disability, trafficking, domestic violence, drug overdoses, you name it. Our new logo will say Sounds of Autism and Others at Risk with the heart to show that we're caring about everybody, and it's a unified community, one step, one city, 1 acre at a time. Our first goal is to, before we launch our program with our acre community, we must set the stage to begin unifying individual cities. A unified responder community is what is the results we strive for through our mission. Our team knows personally that it takes a unified community to raise a child living with autism, including others at risk, especially when we strive for a more typical and independent adult life. We're doing this in Arizona. We will duplicate this throughout the world. Phase 1 team roles. We have Bernadette Smith and her sidekick Brenda Nelson. They will be working on the Director of Community and Corporate Outreach and they are our instructional coaches. They'll be working with college students from all over the state. And currently we're working with ASU, Huntington University, GCU, U of A, NAU, and ASU students. Brenda helps Bernadette recruit teachers, recruit students, and she also offers internships and professor introductions. Our roadmap for them is college to community, to responders, to education, to community updates, to college recruitment. They're covering all those areas to make sure that we continue to build our audience and offer suggestions for all of these people as we're moving through our journey. We also have Kelly Carbello, Director of Educational Operation. They call them EOP programs. They're emergency operation plans through the educational systems. She's going to work with the pre-K through college administration. She works with community leaders, mayors, city council, first responders, and all the crossover teams that would apply to what she's doing. The purpose for this is that many times these educational platforms don't have emergency operations plans that are known by students nor families nor other teachers. And because of that, we're having some issues with these individuals getting the support that they need, especially when they're at risk and they need that additional support during the crisis. So EOP plans give these individuals the opportunity to be included when there's a crisis on campus. And we are going to be also doing recordings for these emergency operation plan ideas through Spectrum Talks and Tips with Kelly Carbello and Cricket. And we will do that with, in-service training as well on educational platforms, community conferences, anywhere where we know we can add these emergency operations plans to make safer environments for everybody as we integrate these individuals back into society, especially as adults. Kelly's program will be working alongside Bernadette and Cricket to reach out to district programs through superintendents or administrators, pre-K to 8th grade, high school, college programs, educational in-service and conference support, responders in-service and conference support, and community in-service and conference support. We also have Jacqueline Alicia Torres. She's Director of Educational Outreach, K through 12 programs, outreach and in-service day support, community and corporate outreach, monthly networking. She will support Bernadette. Bernadette will support her. Carmen, her friend, will be working with her on community and corporate outreach and networking. And Angela Rossetti will be working with community and educational outreach networking. All of these people, as you can see, are all crossing over with one another. This is where we're going to bridge all the gaps because everybody's taking a piece of the puzzle and they're putting it together, but they don't have so much that we lose sight of what's important. So there's layers, and these are the people that are going to be hosting those layer programs. Her, Jacqueline's, journey will look like this. She will be reaching out to districts. Starting at pre-K, we feel that starting job life and safety skills at those ages are super important, very basic, but when we move into the high school and the college programs, by that time we have peer-to-peer TSW programs, transition school work, and our peer-to-peer support programs throughout the schools being led by leaders that are in the typical society so that we're bridging the gaps between typical society and kids or individuals that are at risk. Mike Mazzell, Director of Workforce Development, will be the liaison working with Cricket to build workforce development programs and tools. He will work with us on presentations for workforce development programs. And again, another layer of the K through 12 and college level programs so that these adults can integrate into society at 18 years old and be prepared to start working on job and life skills because we did such a good job along the journey. His roadmap is elementary, middle, high school, transition to work programs, and work programs to job and career programs. Lisa Lucchesi is Director of Human Trafficking Recovery Support Solutions with special needs in mind when it comes to Sounds of Autism working with them. We work together to educate first responders, human trafficking and domestic violence support homes, schools, K through college level, local community outreach platforms, conferences, networking, community meetings, podcasts, social media platforms, any kind of educational components that we can bring to make people proactively aware of grooming and the different things that can happen with these, individuals. And then once they are located, if they were to be trafficked, that we can find them and give them the help they need. We would also focus and touch upon drug interventions and things like that because we know many of these individuals also dealt with that as they were being trafficked. Lisa's roadmap would work directly with first responders, community education, conference meetings, and networking, director of community ambassadors, outreach and support teams. So that's our individuals that have been in those particular platforms, whether it's domestic violence, at risk, or human trafficking. They are supporting us with intake and support peer-to-peer. And then podcast educational programs and tools, where she'll be conducting different podcasts with Sounds of Autism to create virtual programs as well to support all of these different at-risk or acre communities. Her community support team, development of survival programs, tools, and intake support is Kanasha, Director of Human Trafficking Recovery Support Solutions, Community Ambassador, Hannah, Director of Domestic Violence Support, Community Ambassador, and Briasia, Director of At-Risk Population Support, Community Ambassador. Roadmap Journey of Education, Responders Unite, Crisis Intervention, Survival, Crisis Ambassador Team. All of these individuals will be in charge of working with the autism or at-risk populations, human trafficking, domestic violence, at-risk populations, PTSD and mental health, low income and poverty, integration needs, and of course, drug and anything else that would be related to at-risk individuals and their need to integrate and support during crisis intervention. Julie Kemp Partridge, Director of Veteran and Military Affairs, working with local military platforms, veteran platforms, education, K through college level, being a support person. She's a social worker in the school districts. Her feedback would be immensely needed throughout our development. And also working with Northwest Valley Transportation and giving solutions for minibuses and microbuses to help transport kids that don't have transportation as they become an adult. And her roadmap is working directly with the military bases, security forces, special needs programs on the military bases, veterans, veteran support solutions, finding people in the community that support veterans and building those, bridging those gaps, but also finding those veterans that may have individuals that their family member may be on the spectrum. Education, meeting, networking, community outreach, support solutions, just anything she can do to help bridge the gaps in all of those platforms. Angelo Rossetti, Director of Money Management, working with families and other children with money management solutions, community outreach and networking, representing SOA. So he's very much a support person out in the community, but also helping our families, especially with a very serious topic, which is money. And his focus is family, school programs, and community. So as we're out there finding these individuals in these different platforms, we would be turning them over to Angelo to help give him the support he needs, but also have him support them as well. And then phase 2 program, we have Bobby Joe Bell, Raise Your Hands Inc. Foundation. He will be out there supporting Sounds of Autism through education in his music and performances. He does about 20 performances a month, and he's also going to be doing his music tour throughout the world. We also have our media, our social media, our merchandise, Spectrum line, Siblings on Board, many different components to bring compassion and empathy through awareness, one step, one city, one song at a time. We also have our magazine articles to identify leaders in the community and bring awareness to what they've done to help support us. And these are just a few of the many that we focused on this year. Many of them very surprised, excited to be considered for these magazine articles. We also have Director of Global International Development, Dr. Anelia Khan. She's going to be doing all of our international spectrum talks and tips, discussions, and workshops. She will be finding global leaders throughout LinkedIn and Facebook, and she'll be asking them to come on and do her podcast with her on a weekly basis. This will be some of the educational virtual curriculum that we'll be sending out to all of our leaders once she has created these podcasts. To the team roles, Bobby Joe Bell will be out at Gilbert School District on February 2nd. He will be creating and setting the first world record for all kids special needs, raising their hands at the same time for autism spectrum disorder. And then he'll be on March 12th, Desert Diamond Arena, creating the Guinness Book of World Record for line dance and song and music tour concert. This, we hope to have over 5,000 people attending and to raise awareness and also raise money for our organizations. Phase 3, the program, we support at-risk autism populations. We are constantly teaching workforce development through virtual and mobile hands-on educational programs and tools, one step, one city, one job at a time. And our workforce development program is called the STOP Project. It is Simple Task Operation Project presented by Sounds of Autism. And we use the stop sign because we want to make sure if these individuals are integrating into society that people see the stop sign and automatically slow down around these individuals, not only in their cars if they're driving, but also as they're talking or communicating or interacting with these individuals. The adults have shared with us that it would be neat if everybody knew what autism was, because it would make their world a much easier place to navigate. Phase 3, we are supporting at-risk and autism populations. We are constantly teaching workforce development platforms, one step, one city, one job at a time, through our platform tour that we'll be taking in Glendale to see if we are ready to set up our brick and mortar location for our workforce development training sessions. If we are assuming this in 2023, we will then have the ability to start training other individuals, adults, on this platform. So fingers crossed we get this done, but stay tuned. We'll let you know. Phase 3, the team's role, we have Landon Barrientos. He's the STOP Project Lead Coach in teaching stage. His orientation, he will teach meet and greet and first impressions. He will assist Cricket Barrientos with life skill coaching, job skill coaching, safety skill coaching, health and wellness, hygiene and appearance, collaboration, coping, and communication. And then our last portion where we basically seal the deal with their learning side of things with leadership, boss versus coach, goal setting skills, recognizing and reward programs, peer-to-peer support, and getting from here to the result. Once we do that, we test their knowledge. And we do the same thing. Alex will be supporting us as well. Alex Sordia, the second STOP Project Lead Coach, and they will be teaching Nicholas Vince and Carter Kinder on these specific things that they've been learning for over a year and a half. And once they're done, then we'll have 4 individual STOP coaches that will be able to help us within school districts as well as on our brick and mortar platform. And then lastly, our peer-to-peer train the trainer mentorship program is to work with at-risk or autism populations utilizing life, job, and safety skill training programs and tools, as well as support tools to ensure that the information sustains as these students integrate into their adult lives. We do peer-to-peer because we know that when you have to do something alone, it's very scary at times. But when you have a friend or a phone a friend to help you through those times, it makes it much easier. Our survival team program is to work with at-risk and autism populations to determine a survival team that makes sense. Once we have these individuals trained as leaders, we would start pairing them up, and these individuals would begin to learn to work together as a 4-man survival team. And we say that because living together based on several components and identifying those that would work well together as a team or a hybrid family, they attend their STOP project classes. They learn how to work together. We measure the results. We make sure that these personalities will mesh. And then once we do that, and we encourage these families to allow these 4 individuals to find an independent living solution together, not only do they protect one another because we've taught them those skills, but they're also taking away the biggest fear a family has, and that is what happens when we're no longer here. We want to offer a family-style program that removes many of the concerns, including everyone involved. I thank you for taking the time to go through all of this. Please review it a few times if you are unaware of some of the items that we discussed. And if you need anything from me or you need any answers to any of the questions about these programs, please reach out. But this is going to be phase 3 that we're developing this year. Bobby Joe Bell will be touring and doing his music tour throughout the world, hopefully by the end of the year, 2023. And he'll be doing phase 2 for us, led by Bobby Joe Bell, but we'll also have some social media platforms as well. And then our phase 1 will continue throughout the state. And by the end of the year, 2024, we should be in all of the cities throughout the state of Arizona. Pakistan and Canada should be up and running in their components, and California should be ready to start launching their program nationally. So good luck. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you soon. Thanks.